Brown, they say.
Jaylen Brown did not like that.
Oh, Jaylen Brown is fuming. Yeah, he just got teed up. Gotta be careful here. Gotta be careful here.
No.
No way!
What are you doing?
No way!
What are you doing?
The other official threw him out?
You are ruining the game.
At that point, the Celtics had a 2-point lead, 51-49, with 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Jaylen Brown ejected, as you saw right there. Celtics post-game live. Tom Giles, Chris Forsberg, Eddie House. The C's doing what they could to hang into the game in the second half, ultimately falling this one to San Antonio, 125-116, the final score. But you go back to that moment with 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, Eddie. Jaylen Brown at that point, you heard Scal reference it a number of times during the broadcast, having one of his best games, completely in control of the game before he gets ejected. Your thoughts on the ejection and how that impacted everything?
Well, I mean, it definitely impacted everything. I mean, the outcome of the game, the way the game was going to be played, all of those things come into play. I mean, first and foremost, you know, why is that guy over there that he's not even talking to coming in and giving him a tech when he was demonstrative to the guy that actually didn't make the call? So right here, from this play right here, watching, he's over here like, come on, man, what's going on? That's a foul. That's a foul. That's a foul. And he's really talking to that guy right there. He's running up over to him. That's a foul. So he gets his technical foul, right? We take that. All right, he takes it. He's like, you got to call that foul. I understand where he's coming from. Now he's talking to the other ref, and he's saying, what's going on? I think the fact that everybody started grabbing him and things like that, that made this other guy come in and want to be the hero, man. And really, he is zero. I don't even know who he is. And what he needed to do is stay out the way and just ref the game. So, a guy that don't nobody care about. And then right here, once somebody gets turned up, you don't want to be grabbing them and touching them. Just let them go. Let them do what they're doing, because nobody wants to be touched when they fire hot like he was right there. And to me, that was unwarranted, especially from a guy that wasn't even being talked to or being addressed. And, you know, that just messed up the whole game, the chemistry of the game off rip.
It's a terrible call in a vacuum. It's an even more terrible ejection in a game in which two of the best teams in the league, on a night where Jaylen Brown is trying to play to an MVP level, to come out of nowhere and make that call is absurdly ridiculous. And just like you said, let's roll it back first, right? So Jaylen has been frustrated much of the season with the officiating. It came to a head in that first San Antonio meeting where the Celtics shoot only 4 free throws at home. He goes off after the game, gets fined, calls out Curtis Blair. Now, it's been a whole season-long thing. I don't think it's a Spurs thing. It's a different crew tonight. But Jaylen clearly didn't like the way the whistles were going early. Gets pushed. Look, borderline call, probably didn't have a whole lot to stand on there, but he's upset. So he wants to go talk to Tyler Ford about it. He's got in every right to both complain to Tyler Ford, who made the call, and stalk him as the crew chief to get an explanation. Now, you know, as Tyler Ford's telling him to back off, like, Jaylen has to decide how much he wants to pursue that. But for Suyash Mehta to come out of nowhere and be the one that throws him is absurd. And
wait, who was that guy? What's his name?
Yeah, who is fine enough? We're not going to give him any airtime, but he does have 200-something games of NBA experience. This isn't like it's a rookie referee. He actually has a pretty cool story about he was pre-med and left school and became an NBA official.
We don't want to hear a story, Forsberg. Get past him.
He just made the list. Go ahead, Giles.
For context, too, Tyler Ford was the crew chief, right? Mm-hmm. So that's who Jaylen Brown's talking to. This was an instance where it was the third official even who made the ejection, Chris, which adds to it.
Just stand over there, man. Why are you trying to get involved in the conversation? You and your wife ever be like arguing, like a kid wanders in or anything? Get out of here. Mom and Dad are talking.
And then, Jaylen Brown, the ish I be talking about, that went out pretty much right before halftime even. So wasn't long after the ejection.
When you tweet from the locker room, it's kind of elite. I was hoping he would start a live stream, like, you know, just mad, just get on Twitch or whatever they are on, you know. Just get it out there. Have a little Ben session.
Well, we will have any and all post-game locker room that we get throughout this show, and we'll also hear from Joe Mazzulla, his thoughts on it as well. But let's send it back out now, where we got Drew and Scal standing by. You guys mentioned it a number of times, but it certainly kind of changed the game there late in the second quarter.
Yeah, Giles, I haven't seen really anything like that. When the crew chief is having a discussion with a star player, you don't see the third official go in there and try to back up the crew chief by throwing the star player out of the game. It just doesn't happen. Now, Scott, we were talking about it on the air, off the air. If Tyler Ford had thrown Jalen out, you might have said, all right, we don't know what he said. Could be justified.
I could accept that.
Yeah.
But usually the crew chief doesn't need help, right? That's not how it works. Listen, I don't know how the officials and how they handle that. I don't know what was said with Tyler Ford to the other official. I have no idea. It's just, it messed the game up. This game was shaping up. The Celtics kind of figured out Wembanyama. Jaylen Brown in particular figured out Wembanyama. And I was okay with not calling the foul, and I like Jaylen Brown showing emotion. I'm okay with all of it. I just don't get why the other official stepped in there and threw him out.
And, it's unfortunate, obviously, because this game was shaping up to be one of the best of the season. Also for Jaylen Brown, you see the numbers. 8 points and 7 dimes in 15 minutes. This is a guy who has ascended, I think, honestly, Scal, even beyond where he was at the beginning of the year, because he's been scoring at a high level all season. His playmaking has taken a jump this year. But even in the last couple of weeks, his assist numbers are through the roof. He's like really in a groove now.
It's because he's figured out defenses. He's not just making passes and then guys are making shots. He's dictating where coverages are coming from. He's attacking double teams and then spraying it out. Like, there's some guys that can pass, and there's some guys that bend the defense. Jaylen Brown, since the All-Star break, to me, is consistently bending the defense. So right now, like, if you look at what he did, not tonight, obviously, but in this stretch of his, he is playing at an MVP level. And that's what's unfortunate, because these are like those type of games where you get a chance to watch two guys going for the MVP, and you want to see how they respond. And, the referee took it out. Listen, Jaylen Brown can do a better job of keeping his cool. But, man, Jaylen Brown's probably thinking, there ain't no way you're kicking me out of this game.
Well, just think about what we saw with SGA and Jokic last night. I mean, that's the kind of finish we could have been in store for tonight. Now, obviously, don't want to harp too much on that. That's not the only story of the game. What else jumps out to you from the Celtics, Scal? Like, JT played well. Ron Harper Jr., what a game for him.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like we needed another guy. Like, San Antonio, the way that we figured him out early was really impressive. And then their execution is on a high level. Wembanyama's on a high level. And they have other type of players that come up big. So that team is operating like a championship-level team. And I feel like we need Jaylen Brown. It's one of those things where, for any Celtic fans out there that are arguing the fact that, Tatum, how's he going to come back? And, like, when you win a championship, you need the best players. And the best players are different. That's like the level that we need to go to. We needed both our guys out there. If we're going to win a championship, we need to have both our guys out there playing great and playing healthy. So tonight was an example of, it would have been great to see those two battle it out against what San Antonio was doing in the fourth, and it was taken from us.
Look, high level of shot making, high level of intensity. The crowd was really into it. Giles felt like a little taste of playoff action here in mid to early March, and just unfortunate what happened with Jaylen Brown there.
Yep. And again, the Celtics were tied at the half, but San Antonio just could not miss in the third quarter, despite Derek White and his 34 points, 19 of which came in the third quarter. 125-116, the final score. Celtics fall to 43-22. We're just getting started. More reaction coming your way on Celtics Postgame Live.
Celtics Postgame Live is presented by your New England Ford dealers and Ford trucks.